Hello, DeFiChain gang, and welcome to today's Fireside Chat. I hope you're all having a great day and you reserved some time for an exciting guest tonight. But before we start with the show, we have to sort out, like always, the little bit boring housekeeping items. So, first of all, if you like the show, leave us a like and it shows some love for our guest. Furthermore, click the bell button that you get reminded if there's a new show, and of course, leave us a abo here that you don't miss any of the shows in the future. So, that was the boring part. Let's jump over to the more exciting. The funny thing is, the guy I'm gonna interview tonight is, I'm for sure, the youngest guest I've ever had on the Fireside Chat. And the second thing is, where is he coming from? Of course, like most of the guys in the community that are still active here, from Germany. But rest assured, we're gonna do everything in English, that you, everywhere, wherever you're watching, gonna understand what he is to tell us. Maybe the most fun thing is he's doing it out of his basement, and I hope he's so young that the parents didn't lock him up for spending too much internet here. But he has his studio in his basement. So, without any further ado, Paddy, welcome to the Fireside Chat. How is the basement today?
The basement is really, really clean at the moment. So there is not much there are not much things laying around. So thanks again for inviting me to the show. I really appreciate that. It's awesome that you, invited me, and now I'm part of the Fireside Chat. So looking forward.
Absolutely. Hey, it's really cool to be here. So there are so many things to talk about today. So first of all, it's kind of I do the Fireside Chat and news show for quite a while, and suddenly somebody came and started doing a podcast. Who is that dude, right? Does he want to push me out of business here? What's going on? So that was quite fun. And then you invited me to your podcast, and the podcast was really taking off, and you had a lot of super interesting guests. And you're still sitting in your basement, but we all gonna talk about these things, why it is like this, and how did it all happen in the next hour that we're going to spend together. But Paddy, first and foremost, tell maybe the viewers a little bit, who are you? Where do you come from? So it's not like a job interview here, right? So take it very easy. But I think people really want to know from what area in Germany are you? How old are you? I think that's super surprising. And give them a little bit of background information about you.
So, I'm Patrick. I'm 20 years old. I just turned 23 months ago. So I was kind of like 19 when I started the podcast, and I was 18 when I started with the crypto topic. So quite an amazing journey there. Now I'm 20 and I finished school 3 years ago. It's in my town. I'm from. It's Heidelberg, if you know it. It's in Germany.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful
The
city.
printing machines are coming from Heidelberg, right? The world famous printing machines.
Yeah. Heidelberger Druckmaschinen. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, awesome. And I finished school 3 years ago. Then I decided to study future teacher, to become a teacher for French and sports. So I also speak French fluently. That is also one of my strengths. Maybe I start a podcast in French too. I'm not quite sure.
That would be actually pretty cool. Yeah, you should do that.
Yeah, I don't have that much time, but maybe it's on my list. Then I decided to study something else because I didn't finish teacher. It was like, I don't want to be a teacher for the rest of my life. So I decided to start something else that has to do with economics, because by that time I discovered the whole crypto topic, and that was obviously something with monetary policy and independency and stuff like this. So as a teacher, you're obviously not independent, and it doesn't have to do anything with money and the economy. So I decided to study something else, and now I'm doing in Germany it's called BWL Versicherung. It's something with insurance plus economy. It's the mix.
So kind of management studies and major in insurance. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Good. So Heidelberg. You're sitting in a basement in Heidelberg. So you live with your parents still, most likely?
Yes.
That's correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your parents thinking? What are you doing down there in the basement? How did they find your idea when you told them, hey, mom and dad are going to start a podcast?
At the beginning and still now, they're not much interested in the
Okay.
content I produce because it's obviously something they can't grasp. They are very critical when it comes to the whole crypto and especially DeFi
Okay.
chain topic. But I just keep on doing my things, and yeah, sometimes it's hard to. There are sometimes, yeah, we have different opinions on this topic, but it's okay.
I can think we all have parents. I can fully relate to that. Hey, Patty, you said in the quick intro call that we had before everything started on DeFi chain,
Hmm.
or let's go one more step back, because it comes back together in the interview at the later stage. I would like that you talk a little bit about your passion project, or actually what made you having a microphone in front of your mouth, because
Hmm.
there's a good reason behind that. Maybe, or I think at least, why you started a podcast. Let's talk a little bit about a passion, about your passion. I assume studying is not your absolute passion. So, what are you keen on doing if you're not studying?
If I'm not studying, I'm doing podcasts. I'm doing music, meeting friends. Just playing tennis. I also play tennis.
Okay.
And yeah, but the main thing at the moment is music. Unfortunately, it came a little bit too short in the last weeks. I had some exams in university, so I didn't
Okay.
have that much time to make music. But yeah, I started with music like it's quite a long time. I'm still in the choir at school, even
Okay.
though I'm not in school anymore, but still in the choir there, and it's for 9 years that I'm part of the choir, and I started music like back then, 9 years ago. um it's like singing. I don't play sure, I can play the piano, but it's more like I hear the right tones and I hear the right how it should sound, and that's my kind of like my talent and my passion there. And I really like singing, so I sing pop songs. I also sang some classical ones in the church, that you remember when you are in the church, that someone is there on top on the stairs and sings a classical song. And yeah, and then I started producing music. It was for 3.5 years ago now, in 2019, when I bought a software for my computer to record my vocals and stuff like this. And that
Okay.
by that time, I bought a microphone. At the beginning, a really cheap one. I bought some boxes, some that you can hear the music loud, and a little piano. And I had not much at the beginning. I didn't have much, but step by step, I made some progresses. Also bought plugins, because obviously when you edit the audio file afterwards, after recording, you have to filter some frequencies out, and
Hmm.
yeah, compress the vocal, get more cleanness, harshness, brightness, and stuff like this, and also some reverb. And so I really spent hours on the internet by looking some tutorials and videos. It's really crazy. Spent so much money on plugins, on music equipment. It's really I'm obsessed. Yeah, that's
I,
my journey there.
so, what kind of music are you recording now? You said you so coming from the choir, then you started singing pop songs. So, who's your favorite artist? What kind of music are you producing now, or singing, or?
I'm singing some piano songs more. I'm more the sentimental guy there. I'm not
Okay.
singing any rock songs or something like this. More like the piano, guitar, some yeah, with melody, something. And yeah, my favorite artist, I don't really have a favorite one. There are so many that I'm interested in. I also listen to German rap, so I'm also sometimes doing this sort of music. It really depends on who I work together with. Um, some of my some of my friends are more the rap guys, and on the other hand, we have yeah, females who sing who I sing with, and so it's
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
it's really it really depends on the mood I'm in. Yeah.
I see already a DeFiChain song coming up sooner or later, Fatty.
Yeah, I
Now,
already
now,
thought about this
now the
topic,
word
but
is
it
out. Now the word is out. We need some. We have some motivational videos from DeFiChain Epic when he does his funny clips. But now I think we need an end theme for DeFiChain. You know that we like
I already thought
Bitcoin.
about that. I already thought about that. It's it's really difficult to make a serious song that, yeah, maybe in the future. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it shouldn't be a sentimental song. It should be something more
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
a fun,
Powerful.
fact
Yeah.
filled, not the tears running down. Oh my God, we're in a bear market. Tears,
At the end, I'm a meme.
See, you could become the poster boy of DeFiChain. Absolutely. Okay, so we covered that ground. So you're coming out of the music area, and so did that help you to get into podcast? Because I remember when I decided to do the videos with Julian at the beginning, I mean, I had completely shitty equipment, right? I was using some headset I was using for video calls, and then I had a old video camera, not even video camera, like how to say, the camera I use for the video calls, and everything was very, very unprofessional. And then over time, you try to figure out what's a microphone that sounds good, and how do you connect it, and all these things. So I spent a ton of time researching. If I would have known you before, it would have been so much easier, most likely. Was this one of the reasons why you started the podcast? That you said audio is my thing?
Yes, for sure. When I look back, it was like there were two things, two major components that fit together. So on one hand, it was I really like producing something, music in a music kind of way. Editing audio files is really, because you can do so much. You can set up a delay, you can set up reverb, you can make the vocals brighter, thinner, push them down, or there are so many possibilities, and you can be very creative. And sure, the same fits for podcasts. If you listen to the last podcast episodes, in the intro I did make some vocals with some reverb on it, so that it's like the intro, and after that the real intro fades in. And so you can be real creative. That was one kind of the one component. And the other one was that I really like to discuss with people and talk to people about different topics, and that was so on the one hand editing audio files, and on the other hand discussing with people. That was the best combination, and I had the know-how, so that was I knew how to edit audio files, because it's always the same. It doesn't matter if you add a vocal or if you edit a podcast file. So a podcast file is more work, because you don't have to set up a reverb on a podcast vocal usually. So that's way more easier, and still takes some time though, but yeah, that's where.
So that means everything what we hear in the podcast is kind of it's not the raw material. You really put it through some filters.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Okay, so
I'm really looking.
Today we're gonna hear the real Patrick. So today no filters, no plugins, nothing, because I've got no freaking idea how we do this. So Patrick unfiltered today. Okay, that's completely cool, because I thought, a lot of people ask me, hey, what could I do on DeFiChain? Right? And everybody thinks they have to develop something, they have to have technical knowledge or something. And I think you are a very, very good example. First, you're very young. Then you said, hey, what am I able to do? I'm really good in processing audio files, so why not use it to do a podcast? I think it's a perfect example how you can support the community even without being an engineer out there. Similar story than me, right? I know fuck all about about coding, but I said, okay, but what I can do, I can kind of entertain people or put some news together or connect people. Similar story, just a little bit younger. Cool. Hey, Paddy, but let's go back. You said you came into crypto quite a while ago, and you were in DeFiChain also for a long time. Even people really got you on the radar just a couple of months ago when you started with your podcast. Let's go back to the very, very beginning. How did you learn about crypto? How did you figure out that there's something like crypto out there?
That was an interesting story, because a friend of my dad is managing a portfolio for a millionaire, I think. And so he taught my parents about Bitcoin back then, and we sat in the garden, in his garden back then, and he taught, if you buy Bitcoin now. It was in 2019, so I'm not in the crypto space since 2013 like many others, but it was, we sat in the garden down there, and he taught my parents yeah, you should buy Bitcoin now, and it will be worth more in 10 years. And of course, there I had no clue what this thing is about. I really thought, and that is really embarrassing in the end, but I really thought that Bitcoin mining means that a person goes in a mountain and mines Bitcoin with a yeah, it's really, I didn't get anything about it. So I started at totally zero. I had zero knowledge about the financial system and any financial investments or anything like this. I had an ETF, but I didn't set it up myself. It was like my parents once who made this for me. But I had absolutely no clue, because I came from the music part, from the creative side. Just finished school back then. Made a social year in a school. Wanted to become teacher. I was like the creative part there back then. And then I discovered this, and we sat down in the garden, and he taught about Bitcoin, and I came home, and I directly wanted to set up a Coinbase account to get started. And my dad said, hey, slow down, calm down, we still have time, it doesn't have to be now. And I was like, but we have to do it right now. And then I did set up a Coinbase account, bought some Bitcoin, not, of course, not a whole Bitcoin, but some Satoshis. And yeah, just get started. And then I had it on my wallet. And then I read some books about this. The first one was called, it's a German one. I don't know. It's like
Bitcoin Standard? Was the Bitcoin Standard?
No. It was not. This was not the first book. It was, the first one was about blockchain. So it started with blockchain, not with Bitcoin. And then I discovered more and more books. Also the Bitcoin Standard, and watched YouTube videos, of course, Julian's ones, and also at the beginning from the Block Trainer, who does some German videos, because he explained the basics to me, and I was totally new in the space. And yeah, it was really helpful. So that was kind of like the start in 2019. Just read some books, and it really it really motivated me to learn even more and to get the best in this field, because none of my friends have any touch points with crypto still today. And it's like I have a special, it's also like, something that other people don't know, and you're good at, and something that other people are not good at. And so it's kind of like you kind of feel like being special a bit also. And yeah, that was the start.
When you learned about crypto, did you, I think a lot of people who had this journey tried to influence others to kind of buy Bitcoin, or to also look into the whole thing. So you were quite young, right, when you had this idea. How did your classmates at that time resonate with that idea? Did they think, wow, that's awesome, or did they think you're a little bit weird? And
I have to say, yeah, that's also quite interesting. I didn't tell many people. So at the there was a couple of people, like 5 people at the beginning, where I told I'm doing crypto, because at the beginning, when you're new to crypto and discover this new thing, you always get to hear, oh, it's just like gambling, and it's you're not it's more like it's the gambling thing, it can't be serious and stuff like this. And so they also think the same about you if you tell them you're in crypto. And so they don't take you serious. And I want to build a serious image. And that's also, if you take a look at my tweets, I don't tweet much. I don't tweet much with emojis and stuff like this often at the times. I tweet more like the calm one, the facts, the rational part there. I want that the people take me serious, even though I'm 20, because the age obviously doesn't have to do anything with knowledge. And that was my fear at the beginning. So I decided to that people don't take me serious because of my age. They say, oh, you're 20, you're 18, you can't know anything about this topic. You didn't make millions, so you're not serious. You know what I mean? And so I decided to keep that separated from my Instagram. I don't post anything about crypto on Instagram. Just post it on Twitter. And I think 5 people I know, or five of my friends even know that I have Twitter. And yeah, 2 of them follow me there, but they don't really active there. So it's a couple of people, couple of hands that know that I actually doing something with crypto. So like 5 people or so.
Okay, so you kept it completely separate
Yeah.
to build the right image. Okay, cool, interesting. So then you've been in crypto and Coinbase and everything. So how did you get into DeFi chain then?
Yeah, it was like 3 months later when I
Mm-hmm.
bought. I watched Julian's videos and I wanted. I looked for a way to invest in Julian in the first place and to invest something what he built, and he started the whole DeFi chain project back then, and I just bought some DFI and put it on Cake. It was back then DFI was at $2.20, and I bought way more than I bought Bitcoin back then on Coinbase.
Okay.
I bought way more. It was really a tremendous amount for me back then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I had kind of like the right feeling, and yeah, then I put it all on Cake at the beginning. I didn't know about self custody, of course, because I was in the space for 3 months. And yeah, bought DeFi chain, and put it on Cake in staking, and of course in liquidity mining because the returns were so high back then. Um, but I have to say, it was one of the biggest mistakes because I put I put some shares in the I had some shares in the DeFi Bitcoin pool,
Okay.
and did freeze them. So it was really, really stupid when I look back to freeze something in the liquidity pools because of the impermanent loss, and I didn't even know what it is. So it's still frozen today, and I can't get my money back there, and the impermanent loss really hit hard. So um, yeah, it's kind of like I did make some stupid mistakes. I made every mistake. Bought some NFTs, did leverage trading on FTX. I did everything. I tried everything out,
Good
and
idea.
lost.
but, but Patrick, we all made our mistakes. So there's nothing wrong. I think there is not one person in the crypto space who hasn't made mistakes. And if there's one, please send me a message. You're very welcome to come on Fireside Chat and explain how we avoided. We all made these mistakes. This is absolutely normal. I
Yeah,
think this is part of the learning process in crypto. There's no blueprint how
absolutely.
to
Yeah.
do it right, right?
Yeah, the learning process is really important there, and I did learn a lot because of the mistakes I've made. Sure, it was really a huge amount of money I lost back then, I have to say. And I can't get this money back because obviously when it's gone. If you bought NFTs back then, for example, I bought so rare NFTs.
Okay.
It's like a football where you can buy soccer player NFTs, and um, it depends on how they play in real life. What the value with the uh, yeah, that the value of the card is connected to the real life performance.
Okay.
And yeah, I lost like 500 euros in this thing back then. It was like s- super stupid. And another was Thetan Arena, Blocktopia. There were so many things that I lost money, and it was. But I tried everything out, and at the end, yeah, it was a learning lesson.
Learning lesson. Hey, so you're a student now, right? So are you working in your if you have no university or during university? So where's the money coming from? Are you getting sponsored by your dad, or the money you invest has to come from somewhere? And
At the
where
beginning, yeah, at the beginning, my parents did save some money for me.
okay.
Um, that was really, yeah, yeah, that was really really great because I just started with investing. I also
And you just gambled it away with NFTs, right? So maybe your parents shouldn't
a bit, yeah.
watch. Your parents
Yeah.
shouldn't watch the
they
fireside chat.
they know it, and they don't think it's a good thing there. Um, but now let's had the CFP going through, so that is also what I can show my parents to say, hey, it works in kind of like the right direction there, and yeah, but it was yeah, some of my parents' money that they saved for me to it was actually to invest also. So it's like
Okay.
I'd make another investment than an ETF. So yeah, that's my investment decision. And I also worked for my money by myself. I'm giving some tennis lessons
Ah,
still.
cool.
I'm a tennis trainer. tennis coach. And also, yeah, doing my studies right now, and I also get paid there because it's a model or where you work 3 months or you study 3 months in university, and after that you turn you switch to working in the company, and there
So
you
you do
get
an
obviously get paid.
internship for 3 months and they pay you at the same
You
time.
know, but yeah, and they also pay you when you're in the university, so it's
Ah, okay,
really
cool.
nice. Yeah,
That's
you
good.
get paid all over the year. Um, Still, if you're in university and learning there, so
Okay.
yeah, that's also where the money comes from to invest. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, we all have to start somewhere, but I like the story that you invested your parents' money in crypto. That's good. Hey, Patty. So, and then you said, okay, DeFi chain is cool because you've been in DeFi chain for, I think you said 1.5 years before you started with your podcast, right?
yeah.
So, why did you decide? You explained already you had this audio knowledge and you wanted to talk to people, but why one day
There
you
was
decided, okay, let's do a podcast? What was the
the
point?
main the main inspiration was DeFiChain Info. He's a German YouTuber who makes DeFiChain content.
Okay.
Who back then back then when I started the podcast, who made a video where he said that was during the bear market where everything went down, and that was really a terrible time when we look back. We're still at low prices, but that back then what the sentiment was really, really bearish. And he said, yeah, we have to stay together as a community and build something and work together. And he inspired me to start something. After I've seen this video, I just started with a podcast. So at the beginning, the first 2 episodes were solo episodes where I just grabbed my microphone and recorded something. I made a script where I wrote down. The first episode was DeFi chain as a non-techie. So I covered 3 points that non-techies should should learn about at the beginning. And the second one was about how to behave in the current market situation. It was not about DeFi chain. So the first 2 episodes were I wasn't quite sure whether that's why the podcast is not called the DeFi Chain Podcast, because I wanted to talk about some other investment topics at the beginning. But now it's like more the DeFi chain direction, and that's a good one. But at the beginning, I wasn't quite sure and decided to call this podcast In the Market, so that I'm still able to do other content in the future, maybe if I'm interested in, and not focus all on DeFi chain. But it turned
Yes,
out to be,
smart decision, right? Keeping everything open for the future. You never know how it turns, right? And you might run out
yeah,
of topics sooner or later.
yeah. That is
You know,
also a problem. At the beginning,
I remember because we had, sorry to interrupt, but
yeah, yeah.
when we were speaking, you said, yeah, I gonna do like 2 podcasts a week, and this is so awesome. And I thought, hey, Paddy, you're gonna run out of topics. It's gonna get really hard. So how is that going? How many episodes did you record already? Because at the beginning you were like a machine. I think you tried to
Mhm.
interview like 3 people a week, and you went full on. So how is it now? How many episodes recorded already? How many do you do per week now? Tell us a little bit. I think it's very interesting for the people out there to understand this is in some way easy to get in there, but it's not easy to keep it going, right? How
It's
is it?
yeah. It's really it's really stressful, I have to say. At the beginning, I was like really euphoric and said, I can just write everyone on Twitter and see how they reacted. And at the beginning, everything went well. So everyone responded, "Hey, Paddy, let's do it. I'm really looking forward. What time? What date? And can you send me the questions or stuff like this?" And I said, "Oh, nice. I can do 3 interviews a week." But then you texted me, and I thought like. I calculated it through the whole year, and I noticed it doesn't work well. There aren't so many people that I can talk to. If I would do it on a weekly basis, it would have to be 52 people per year. That is too much. And even for me now that I have exams in my university, I know that it's really, really stressful to do the Twitter space. I'm also doing the German Twitter space host. Every Monday, then I have to record the podcast, to edit the podcasts, to upload them, to make description and stuff like this. and it's really stressful at the beginning. So I decided to make it every 2 weeks, and that was the way to go, because it was way. And now I still have I still have one episode left that I just already recorded and uploaded that launches in 2 weeks. That was the one with Ian from Cake, and after that I have to record some new episodes. But now that the exams pass away, and there's still one left on Friday, so when you see this, it's the next day of the exam. After that, I have more time to
Then
record
you're gonna
new
go and
episodes.
produce more. Hey,
Yeah.
you had how many episodes did you produce already?
I think it's like 20, 21.
Okay.
It's awesome, yeah.
So I think you had the who is who of DeFiChain and Cake. I mean, the who is who of DeFiChain at the end on your podcast already. What was the? Let's talk a little bit about your guests, right? Because I think a lot of people out there know the guest. Who was the most surprising guest for you? Like the person who delivered the most surprising answers, or even surprised you in any other way? Was there somebody where I thought this person is so different? Or
It's there wasn't one person that surprised me, but it's like it really depends on if I knew the person before. Because when I talked to Bene, for example, DeFiChain Epic, I knew him before, so it was like we were just
like
talking
to a friend, yeah.
Yes, sorry for the German there. And what really surprised me was Ian. I have to say that his story really caught me back then. It was I talked to him 1.5 weeks ago, and I have to say that his what he has to tell is really interesting. And we didn't only talk about designing and stuff like this, also some personal stuff, and also DC, for example, who has a management position in his company. And it's everyone has to tell a special story. There is no one where I say this is the one, because everybody has a different story to tell, and there are some very, very interesting details. Also, your story is really interesting, that you moved from Austria to Asia and stuff like this, and now live there. Now you're part of Javelis, and so everyone has a different story. And I have to make sure that everyone understands what the person is about and what is behind this person. So that's also a motivation why I started the podcast. I wanted to present the people apart from Twitter. Everyone knows that they are on Twitter. Kugi is sure on Twitter and tweets about numbers, and DeFiChain and Tommy, and so we all know what they're doing on Twitter, but we don't really know who they are and what they're doing in their free time, for example. And that is why I think it's most important for trust.
So now there's always a lot of technology involved, right? Recording a podcast, we all learned this the hard way. You and me, we had quite a hard time recording the podcast because your internet was like dying every 5 minutes. And I think it took us not only one day, we did it over several days, and it was a complete mess, right? I think they had some issues with the internet line up there, but it was quite funny at the end.
Yeah.
It was at least we were laughing about it. Any other problems you had during your podcast? So what was the most annoying thing in doing all these things, or it was all smooth and smooth sailing? Was it only my podcast?
Of course. No, it's like our story was really fascinating. So when I hit you up on Twitter, and that's how I usually get to my guests. So I just write them a Twitter message. It's like insane that they all responded me. So I just wrote at the beginning everyone a Twitter message and say, hey, are you interested in doing a podcast? You said yes, and we finally find a date. I have to say that it's quite difficult with some people to find a day where it fits for both of us, because you're in Singapore, it's 7 hours time difference. And so it's not that easy during the week, because of course I have to go to university and I have to work, and on the weekend there's usually no one is interested in doing interviews, and during the weekend it's weekend, so they want to have free time there,
Family time.
family time. but yeah, we did connect and we had our call, and it was like the same part that was always that did not work out. So it was like the
It was
Lord
always the
Mark.
same question. It was
Yeah,
always
it
the
was
same question,
the
right?
question was like, how did you become a lord? That was the question, and
I think I told you. I think I told you this story like seven times or something like this.
yeah,
And it was always
7 variations. Yeah, yeah, that is really, and I during this whole week where we had massive internet connections in our whole street, so it's not in our house, but the whole street didn't work. The internet, the internet didn't work very well, and I had several interviews this week, also with Bene. And I felt so sorry because I had 3 calls, and I have to say, sorry, my internet is not working. I'm sitting in the basement, it's not working here, and stuff like this. So it was really embarrassing there. And but yeah, you took it really easy, and that is what I really appreciate. That you said no problem, let's do it another day. So there are also, maybe there are some people who say, yeah, this guy is, I don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean?
yeah, it is stressful, right? If
Yeah.
technology doesn't work and you want to do something, we had several locations where we tried to record and the freaking streaming software didn't do what we wanted to do, and me and DC are like, holy moly, how can we get this going? I know it's stressful, but you managed it very well. We just did it another time, right?
Yeah,
Easy.
it depends.
But I think everybody's kind of easy. Oh, the other people most likely they were
Yeah,
also
of course. I
quite
had no
quite
one
relaxed
who
about it.
said who was unfriendly. I had no single one who was unfriendly. Everyone was so friendly, and yeah, that was really awesome, and that is what I appreciate in the community. So yeah, that's awesome. And you talked about some other mistakes that I've made. I'm not quite sure if there were so many. At the beginning, you always have to tell the people, as you did, how is it structured? What are the questions like? What direction will it go? And how it work? Yeah, how it works in general. Yeah, but that's it. And it was just the week with the internet connections.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a stressful one. So who's your so you said you interviewed about 20 people already. Now you have to become a little bit more creative, but we keep that for the very, very end, the future outlook
Hmm.
for the podcast. But who are the people maybe that you're is there somebody that you're really looking forward that you want to interview, or this person wasn't available, or you don't have the contact to this person, then it would be
Hmm.
the right moment now to maybe to pitch that here, because maybe the person is listening to it or somebody's got a connection. Is there like a dream guest that you always wanted to have on the show and it never worked out so far?
There are 2 people that I are really hard to get. It's like Figo, and
Okay.
I really like to have him on the show. And he's really busy with family being sick all the time, and it's really stressful. And also DeFiChain Info. Sometimes I write him a message, and he just reads the message but didn't answer. And so
He
yeah,
should come. He should come to your podcast because he was a big inspiration for you. So I think
yeah,
he
obviously, yeah. It's a really
absolutely
interesting.
he has to
So
be
these
there.
2, and maybe also Andreas. So these 3 are, so Emmer, Mr. Growl, who made the Euro coin DFIP.
Okay.
Um, yeah, these 3. So if you feel
So guys,
that
if
you,
you hear this now, right, Andreas, Figo, and DeFiChain Info, if you hear this today, you better give this young gentleman a call because he's looking forward to interview you. It's cool. You should do this. Absolutely. So we talked a little bit about the problems you had with your podcast. Um, the format is always the same. No, it's actually not true, because I remember, like I said, the first 2 episodes that you did, it was like a solo
Mhm.
thing, right? Then you started interviewing people. So actually a very similar concept like what I
Yeah,
do on Fireside Chat. And I think I said to you at that time, oh, you do actually a Fireside Chat. And you were like, what's the Fireside Chat? You were
mhm,
like,
yeah, yeah,
you had no freaking idea what we are doing. But then you changed the I don't want to say you changed it, but you added a new kind of variation where you have like kind of a regular guest at the moment, and that's U-Zyn. So I'm really impressed that you get him on the show all the time, because I know U-Zyn is so freaking busy with stuff. Um,
mhm.
and I know how busy he is, but he's always there for you. I think you did like two or three episodes already with
Three
him.
episodes.
Three
Yeah.
episodes already. Is this a plan where you say you want to go away from or you want to do an additional track beside this conversational program where you kind of present the people, where it goes more into, with U-Zyn is more technical, right? It goes more into the bits and bytes of DeFiChain.
Yeah.
Is there a plan, or did it just happen? What was the story?
I'm interested. I think that the focus at the moment is too much on the present, what's happening at the moment on DeFi
Okay.
chain. So we always talk about the DUSD problem. Sure, it is really important to fix these things and to talk about the things that are happening at the moment. But I personally feel that we should also focus on the future, and that is why I talk about these topics like DeFi Metachain. That was one episode with him. Then the other one was about Quantum Bridge. So I really feel, I really feel inspired to push the future forwards and what's happening after 2023 and so on, and to I'm also very interested, and I've never imagined that I would test Quantum Bridge with a test net. So I'm not the technical guy, as I told at the beginning, but I have to say that I did download testnet light wallet, or did make an address there, and also used the whole Quantum Bridge to make these swaps from MetaMask and get this girly token there. And I just did the whole testing process, because I'm really interested in, and I think that it's huge potential there for DeFiChain in the future, that it connects Ethereum and DeFiChain world there. So that was why why we talked 2 times out of 3 about DeFi Metachain and Quantum Bridge. And I really appreciate that he takes the time every single time I message him. And I also made a summary together with Kügi and Ollie from DFX about the DeFi Metachain. What are the main aspects? It was like a 1-pager, and we sent all the information to U-Zyn, and he directly responded if everything was correct and were there any mistakes in it. And yeah, he's just such a smart guy and really friendly. Yeah.
He is. No, he's a great person, right? And he's so helpful. Hey, I remember reading your one pager. I would say we gonna link this one pager up in the show notes as well, because I think DeFi Metachain is still a topic where a lot of people kind of really don't understand what it is, and there's nobody to blame for it, because it is a very complex topic, and I think we haven't seen what DeFi Metachain can really do in the near future, right? So let's link that up. I think that's gonna be really good.
Awesome.
Also, we're gonna put, of course, all the details of Paddy in the show notes, where you can find him and that you can follow his podcast. So, but now you said podcast was not enough. So how did you change your mind about going from a podcast? Now it's like a video show. Was it because Spotify enabled videos as well? Or how did you come up to say, okay, let's broadcast a video? That's kind of the next step, right?
Yeah. It's like a next step, but I'm not someone who says I'm fearful to be presented with my face on social media. So I don't really care, because when for example, there was also something I learned in the choir. By singing a solo, for example, you stand in front of hundreds of people, so it's like the same. And in social media, the people don't even know you. When you stand there, they know you when you sing a solo in front of the choir. But in social media, they don't really know. It's like, it's really it's a nice feeling, and I don't really care about that much.
Okay, cool. So because I remember when I did my first videos, I was kind of very excited about it. And I had a lot of people that asked if they want to come to the show. I mean, most actually did, but most of them were excited and said, I've never done this. How is this going to be, right? So, and then they figured out, oh, it's actually pretty cool. It doesn't hurt, right? If you look back on your journey where you came out of kind of out of the unknown and started to take on this project, was there a point when you said, hell, I shouldn't have done that because people are annoying, or you got funny emails, or a lot of girls are reaching out to you, they want to date you now or something? We have the weirdest things happen as soon as you're like kind of more public. Was there something? or?
The only thing that happened to me, and Bene from DeFiChain Epic told me at the beginning, Patrick, don't overtake yourself. And I said, what are you talking about? I can do
Yeah.
3 podcast episodes a week. And you also taught me the thing. And
Okay.
yeah, I can do 3 podcast episodes, no matter what. I can do Twitter Spaces. I can do I can write I also started to write a Medium article. It was only one, about what is a token, what are D tokens. Back then I wanted to do everything, and now I have to say that it's absolutely impossible to do everything. I have to say that it's important for new people, if you feel attached, that you should start something right now, because I did, and if you feel inspired, go do so, but make sure to take care of yourself and don't overdo the things. So you don't have to do 10 projects at the same time. Focus on 1 or 2. That's how I do right now, or even 3, because I also have a German podcast that I'm hosting. It's called Off the Market, where we talk about. It's a German one where we talk about topics other than crypto or investment ones, such as focus, concentration, stress, for example, sleep cycles and stuff. So I have this podcast. So off the market, in the market, and I'm hosting the Twitter space. So these 3 things are the things I focus on right now, and yeah, that is what's the focus on it. Don't overtake yourself. It can be very stressful. That was the learning I had there. Yeah.
Very good point. So all about pacing, right? Cool. But there were no real negative experiences where you said, I should have never done
No,
that. Okay, that's good.
no.
That's good to hear. Because social media is a kind of tricky animal, right? So like it can be very positive feedback, it can be very negative feedback. There can be feedback from people they don't even know you and think they have an opinion on everything. But so far, everything
Yeah,
was going
it
really well.
depends. When I set up my CFP, and there are also some people. There was someone who wrote 19-year-old crying for fame and money, and I said, okay, what
I haven't read.
what do you
Fantastic.
want? So
Hey, that's such a good point. Let's talk about the CFP. Because a lot of people always think that CFPs are money grabs, CFPs are everybody's gonna get rich with an CFP. Not everybody thinks like this, but there are some people out there that have a problem with every single community funding proposal that is out there.
mhm.
I see it completely different. I know that there have been CFPs where people maybe didn't deliver on their promises. That's a different story. I don't want to go down that road. But I personally believe that nobody's getting rich with a CFP out there, right?
Yeah.
It's I don't know, how do you see that? How's your feeling when you read CFPs? Did pro- putting up your own CFP change your opinion, or
Yeah.
have you been? Yeah, let's talk
Yeah,
about that a little
absolutely,
bit.
absolutely. It's an interesting point. Because for me, I'm not the richest guy, so I definitely have to say, and I have some costs I have to spend. I have to buy audio equipment. I have to buy the audio files to edit them, and I had to buy extra additional audio files on top, especially for the podcast I didn't use that I don't use for music production. So I had to buy them. Had to buy this microphone. I also have another microphone, but this microphone is way better for podcasts. It's really way better than the other one. And the other one is more for singing, like for vocals with more high end and stuff like this. So you really hear it different. So I have to buy Zoom Pro. It's also a cost. I have to run the podcast host platform, Buzzsprout, and you also have to pay monthly subscription. So it's really, you have to spend something. And I think with CFPs, you have the possibility to get something back from the community, and that they appreciate what you do, what you did so far. And I have to say that in my opinion, it's important that you deliver first and then set up a CFP. Sometimes it can be difficult. It can be difficult if you need the money, the CFP money, to build something. It's difficult. But if you have the money at the beginning, spend this money, and then want the money back because you delivered, it's something else. But it definitely changed my point of view there. I think CFPs are very important to push the project forwards. And if because it also motivates people to keep. So imagine me. I just received the CFP money, and now I feel even more motivated to push forwards because I have the trust of the community and so on. And that is a really important point. So we definitely need CFPs, and we definitely need new projects that build on DeFiChain and push the project forwards, because it's a community project, of course, and that is the main, or the major benefit and the main strength of DeFiChain is the community, and we need more people. What I think is missing at the moment is some content for beginners. I think that it's missing at the moment, especially English ones. When we talk about the CFP from DeFiChain Epic, it was about the NFC sponsorship. There we have so many people who are totally new to the crypto space, and we need to catch these people and explain them what is DeFiChain without using terms like blockchain or anything else. So we definitely need beginner-friendly content. I don't have the time to do this content on top. I already mentioned that it's quite
But it could be a good thing to do, right?
Yeah, it could be definitely a good thing to do. So if anyone out there feels like, oh, I want to do something but don't know what, you don't have to make videos. You can also write articles, like short ones, or make YouTube shorts, for example. Just provide easy content for DeFiChain that beginners can grab. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We had this many times that people said we need beginner content. I think it becomes very complex very quickly, right? And what we all forget doing, being in DeFiChain, we all started small, but we are there for such a long time already. For us, all these basics are kind of so normal, right? How to set up a wallet, how to do a transaction, what is the DEX and these things. I completely agree, because we grow out of these things. For us, it's, everybody knows that. No, nobody knows out there, right? We are still living in this DeFiChain bubble, and only because it's for us normal, a lot of people out there don't know this. Cool. Yeah, but I think it was good that it did the CFP. I think it was the right way to do, and I also like what you said about we need these projects to flourish, and we need more projects to come, and if people can make a little bit of their time or their money back, why not, right? I mean, community fund is there to support this. Let's talk about the future, because you have a couple of exciting things planned. I don't know how much is public knowledge out there already. I think you tweeted about these things already. Let's talk a little bit what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. What's your plan? What are you doing?
So there are really exciting plans in the future. End of March, I will fly. At the end of March, there is the event. There is a NFC sponsorship in Dortmund.
Okay.
Where there are 130 people from the DeFiChain community there. Everyone gets a DeFighter shirt, and it's like the winner of the NFC gets the Fighter of the Night bonus, and it's like 10,000 euros. And so I will be there, and also Bene and many well-known people in the community. It will be an awesome event. It's the 25th March. Yeah. And one day later, I will fly to Singapore to meet you, and to get to know all the people there. And the main thing I want to do there is to take a look at the Cake DeFi office, to take a look behind the scenes. What is happening there, and how is everything structured? Like, what does a normal day look like, for example? And of course, make some interviews there. And I'm also in contact with some of the Cake DeFi team members. And I will talk to someone.
And the birthday research team, nah? Not only
the
birthday
research.
Yeah,
the birthday research is it's also on the list, to make sure how does it work when a CFP is through with how do they send the money and stuff like this. So it's like, or how does the freezer work? How are the funds separated? So when I take a look at
they have in this new office, they have this kitchen area where they have all the freezers. That was a bad one. How does a freezer work?
Yeah, the first thing is your freezer, then mine.
Yeah, then your freezer.
But I want to maybe show an example with my own account, because I'm also a customer of Cake. Maybe you can just hide the balance and then say, film it from the monitor there. How where is my money in the freezer exactly, and what's happening. So I want to take a look behind the scenes for transparency reason, and also because I'm really interested in getting to know all these people, and I talk to them via Zoom, but not in real life, also to you, and it's really exciting. Make some vlogs
You've never
there.
been in Singapore, right? So it's your first
No,
trip.
I've never. Yeah,
First
yeah,
trip to Asia.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
First
So
trip.
you're flying from how is your flight
From
from
Frankfurt. Yeah,
Frankfurt to Singapore directly, or
yeah, directly,
okay, cool,
directly. Together
good.
with Optim, he's the guy who developed the DeFiChain wiki, the new one.
Okay.
Called his name is Joshua, and he's also really yeah, he's pushing forward in the community at the moment, and he's getting bigger and bigger. And yeah, he's a dev, so he definitely knows how to work on beginner content, and he also created yeah, DeFiChain wiki, and also implemented the ChatGPT in DeFiChain wiki, so the basic, to answer the basic questions. And yeah, together with him I'll fly there. Yeah,
We have to feed that chat a lot of
yeah,
information,
absolutely.
because we
Yeah,
did it on the news show, right? We asked the DeFiChain wiki, who is DC or something like this, or is Lord Mark a real lord?
it's real lord.
And
If
he didn't
you
have
want to
the
know,
answers yet.
if you
So
want the answer to this question, you have to listen to the podcast with Lord Mark. And
exactly.
we covered this several times there.
Yeah, 7 times, I
Yeah.
remember. Cool. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting. Looking forward to see you. That's end of March, and
Hmm.
yeah, most likely there's gonna a lot of content gonna be produced when you come over. Bring some, t-shirts and some shorts. Singapore is warm at the moment. Or the good thing is, we had really shitty weather over the last couple of weeks. At the moment, it's very sunny, a bit windy. It's actually very, very pleasant here. You're gonna love it. And then, yeah, you're gonna have a good time. And then we're gonna do
We
something.
drink a
Maybe
coffee. We drink a
yeah,
coffee. We drink a coffee.
we drink a coffee, or maybe we produce something together. Let's see. For sure,
All right.
open for some ideas. Hey, Patrick, it brings us more or less to the end. It was really exciting to talk to you. It was nice to ask you the questions today.
That's
And
really interesting. Yeah.
I hope you had a good time. No internet problems this time. Leave it to the pros.
Yes, I better leave it to you.
But your internet connection is brilliant now. I can see that.
Now it's
Hey,
working. Yeah, that's fine.
absolutely. Okay. Buddy, it was good to have you here. Hey, thanks so much for doing this. And everybody out there, thanks for watching, of course. I hope you really enjoyed our little conversation. That was not always too serious. I think life's serious enough. We have to take it sometimes with a big smile on our face. And yeah, Paddy, see you in Singapore. And you, everybody out there, see you next time when it's DeFiChain Fire Talk again. Being said, have a great afternoon. Thank you, and bye-bye.